Hello and welcome, it is great to see you. Today we are working on a fun Easter craft. So this one is to make a mini Easter basket. You will need a square of cardstock. I've gone for 6 by 6. If you wanted to make this bigger, you definitely could. The maths is very easy on this one. It just needs to be divisible by 3. So my 6 by 6, I will be scoring at 2 and 4, turning my paper and scoring at 2 and 4 again. And then for my handle, that is going to be 6 inches by 3/4 of an inch. I would suggest if you want to make a bigger version to do 9 by 9 and score at 3 and 6. And I would make your handle slightly longer too. And then we're going to take our pretty paper and you want to cut 6 squares which are just shy of 2 by 2 inches. It depends if you want to have a border on each of your little panels, but I didn't. So I just went just shy of 2 by 2. Once I've got all of those together and cut, you can go ahead and burnish all of your score lines. So all 4 of those. Are there 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, all 4 of those. And then you need to make the cuts that I'm showing you here. So you want on opposite sides to cut along the score line up to the first cross where it meets the square above. You can see it much better than I can explain it. So it makes that sort of H shape when you fold the 2 middle ones in. Then I'm putting some X's on the pieces that you will add the panels to. So it'll be the same on both sides. It's the back side, so that when it folds up and makes your little basket, you're going to be able to see them. Also, because of the way that I'm folding this together, you want to make sure that your pretty papers go all the way to the edge on these 2 outside pieces. I just like the way it looks. Again, if you wanted a border, you definitely could do that. But the way that I chose to do it was to have them right to the edge, and then it makes like it doesn't make a flush pattern because of the way the papers are cut, but it could if your pretty paper was less busy than the one that I chose. It would definitely, you wouldn't notice as much the different lines where you're putting it together. I am adding on my panels with my tape runner. Mine is from All Things Sticky and it is my new favourite tool. I do have a link if you're interested, and I might have a discount code knocking around somewhere. So I'll have a look for you if you would like that one. Then to put this together, I'm using some hot glue, folding those 2 outer squares together so that the corners form the point at the top of the basket and sticking that onto that middle square. I'm better at showing you than telling you, so I am showing you on the screen how to do that. I'm just adding the pieces onto the other side now. And then do I put this one together on camera for you? I think I do. So you get to see how I put this together twice, because obviously one for each side. Also, that piece in the middle is slightly too short, the little pretty paper panel. That's fine. The top bit of that square gets covered up anyway. So don't worry about that. If you've got slightly too little cardstock, stick it on that middle panel. Apparently, I do skip putting that together, so I apologise. You only get to see that once. But now I am cutting more pieces. So again, these ones, I didn't do the just shy of 2 by 2. I think I did 1 7/8. By 1 7/8. So these ones had a border around the edge, and these 2 go on those 2 side pieces there. And that is the main shape of your basket. So adding on our strap or our handle, I've just cut another piece of that pretty cardstock, slightly shorter than the one before, or slightly thinner rather. I'm not sure exactly what the measurements are, but just slightly smaller than the one that I had before. So the one I had before was 6 by 3/4. And then I'm going to go ahead and poke some holes to add my handle. You could definitely just glue this onto the inside if you wanted to. Hot glue, double-sided tape, any of those would be fine. You could also use like an eyelet tool, but I decided I wanted to add this on with split pins or brads so that it would move. It was harder than I thought. I tried to use this weeding tool. I should have got out my paper piercer. I own one. I couldn't be bothered to find it. The weeding tool was closer. So I used that, and it made this a lot harder than it needed to be. So I poked the holes into the actual basket, held the handle in place, and then used a pencil to mark that. Then I'm using the weeding tool to poke the holes. I don't know if you can see, but it's gone like inside the tool. So I think I've totally broken that. But it did make the holes, which is what I wanted. So I'm grabbing out some brads. I've got these pink ones. Another reason I want to use the brads is because I want to use them up. I had a huge stash of them. I destashed loads and I've still got a bunch left. So it's good to find a project to use those up. After saying the holes were great, I go ahead with my tweezers and make them bigger because they were not great. They were far too small and I couldn't get the brad through. So just making those bigger on both sides and then adding on my handle. I did use what was the collection for this one? It was an Echo Park one. Easter Wishes, maybe? I'm trying to use up some of my old stash things, especially Easter. I haven't got a huge Easter stash. I've just got a few things. I've definitely got a lot of the bunnies and blooms left. And Easter Wishes, I believe, is the other one. And so I'm trying to use those up. Speaking of Doodlebug, there's the Doodlebug ephemera you can see in front of you there. That one is, I want to say Bunny Hop, I think. I wasn't speaking about Doodlebug at all, was I? I was talking about the bunnies and blooms. That isn't Doodlebug. But anyway, we've decided to decorate this one with the Doodlebug stuff because it's adorable. Their stuff is always adorable and their Easter stuff is just another level. So I have gone ahead with one of the sentiments from the sentiment pack. I've gone for Easter Sunday. We've got that little Peeps bunny, a little egg, and a little, is that a tulip? I think it's supposed to be a tulip. Added that onto some foam tape. You could decorate these so many ways. You could leave them plain and just put some bits and bobs inside. Some of that like Easter grass would be really sweet. And just some chocolate or something would be fun. But I'm hoping to turn this into like a little happy mail. So I'm going to fill it with all different little embellishments and then obviously some sweet treats. It's Easter. So I'm adding some of these puffy stickers. These are my favourite. I might have to order another packet. I know that Crafty Charlie has free delivery over Easter. I think it's like an Easter offer. And I'm eyeing up another pack of those puffy stickers. So that might be where I disappear off to after this video. Go and order myself some pretty puffy stickers. Adding on some enamel dots because no project is finished without enamel dots and gems. These ones are from Violet Studio. Not 100% sure of the actual collection name, but I'm sure it's Violet Studio. I got them from the range. But I'm not sure if Violet Studio is one of the range's brands or if it's from somewhere else. And then these little bows, I got them on Temu and I have been obsessed with them. So I'm adding a little white bow on top of my Easter egg there. I think I do add a bigger bow onto the handle as well momentarily. Adding a few more gems, of course. These little mini ones are definitely from the range. If you are enjoying hanging out and crafting with me, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd love to see a comment from you. I am trying my best to get back to you in a much more timely manner lately. So do leave me a comment if you've got any questions or suggestions of things you want to see in the future. And this is our little Easter basket totally finished. This would be adorable mini like this for a happy mail, a bit bigger full of gifts for family members or something. I think it turned out absolutely adorable and it's so simple to put together. Thanks so much for hanging out and crafting with me, and I will be back again to craft with you soon. I'll see you then. Bye!